This could be the start of something new. It feels so right. So be here with you. And now looking in your eyes, I feel in my heart. Start something.
So good. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of
Direct to Video.
Oh my god. And I mean, what a fucking day. I mean, my dopamine is at an all-time high. I just finished watching the movie we'll be reviewing today. And I was telling Lex, I'm like, I just feel so fucking good.
Girl,
I'm in a good mood.
We were discussing, like, I was kind of like down because I had a long weekend and oh my god, it was so fun. And it was like Monday night, it was pouring rain, and I put this movie on and it was like serotonin being injected into my veins immediately from the very start. The first song.
I know.
Oh my god.
I know. The whole movie was a fucking, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but it was a joy and it was a thrill. And I will say it has a lot to do with nostalgia.
Yeah.
I think nostalgia was the real ticket, the driving force here. I wish I could watch it with someone with fresh eyes, but I can't do that. Everyone on Earth has seen this movie.
No, literally everyone on Earth.
Literally everyone on Earth. And I must say, Lex, your costume today is really giving.
Okay, Brett has to say that because mine looks so much worse than his.
No.
I came on here and I was like, is that Ryan Evans? Deadass.
Stop that business.
If you were across the street,
Stop that business.
That's Ryan Evans. No, you guys are. That's Ryan.
Hey, well, let me tell you right now, these clothes smell like kind of like old person because I bought them today from a thrift store. I was scared to put this hat on, so that's why it's over a blonde wig. But I do also kind of look like, hey, everybody, it's Ellen.
Oh my god. Also, like,
hey, y'all, it's Ellen.
Niall Horan, Ellen, Ryan Core.
Yeah. Though they all could be like related in some way.
Versus, guys, I put on a Harry Potter wig. It's not even brown. It's pitch black. And I took some eyeshadow and I just smeared it on my eyebrows. And then I took You thought those were natural? Okay.
Well, I knew there was something funky going on, but
he goes to my face.
I didn't even know if it was intentional or not, but I didn't want to bring it up if it wasn't. Could you imagine if it wasn't intentional?
A bad friend. You're a bad friend. He looked at me and he went, "She looks busted. Should I say something?"
Well, I was like, it didn't like. It's not like they look bad. They just look a little different.
Honey.
I think like, what's her name? That famous supermodel with the bushy eyebrows.
Alexa.
Brooke Shields.
Oh,
Brooke Shields.
Oh,
Alexa.
He goes, "Who the fuck is that bitch?" And then I took I was like, oh, I'll put this on like a red. I was going to flip this Gryffindor jersey inside out. And I was like, nah, it's got this.
No, you're fully. I love how we're seeing pieces of your Harry Potter cosplay like in this.
Oh my God,
Troy Bolton. It's like everything.
It's like Harry Potter and Troy Bolton fucked. And I'm their like confused gay son.
Could be hot.
Oh my God. Actually true.
But if you couldn't tell today,
yeah.
We are reviewing High School Musical, the classic, the Disney Channel original movie classic. And I'm trying to contain my excitement so bad. But before we get into the film, because there's a lot of film to get into.
Oh my God.
And we were talking about this earlier, like, we're not going to touch on every scene. If you are like a famous fan of like the subtle scenes between Miss Darbus and Coach Bolton, this is not the podcast for you because we're not going to be touching on them.
I'm so sorry, guys. We would be here for 3 days. Not even you want to listen to that.
Right. Well, the thing about our Camp Rock episode that we noticed is like in a lot of these Disney Channel original movies, they are comprised of 10,000 30-second scenes.
And my theory now is that it was to keep the kids entertained. They were like, look, new environment, new characters, boom, next scene. New environment, new characters, boom, next scene.
Fully.
Yeah.
Fully. I think that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, so just know that. But I have to ask Leslie, what were your preconceptions for High School Musical?
I have to be honest, and I have to say something controversial. As a kid, when this came out, I was not a High School Musical person. I was like, this is kind of
spit on my teeth.
I was like, this is kind of dumb. Zac Efron. Actually, my sister and I used to take pictures of him from like, J14 Tiger Beat magazines, and we would put them up on our wall, and we would spend hours putting makeup on him, like turning him into a woman. It was like a weird now that I say it out loud.
I was thinking you were going to say like we throw darts at him, which I was like, okay, that's creepy, but like putting makeup on him is almost creepier. It's almost weirder.
We had like a life-size poster of him in my basement for like 2 years. We changed his name to Zac Efron, and she was beautiful, to be honest. But I was never really into it. I was like, this is kind of dumb. Gabriella pisses me the fuck off. I was like 12. And my appreciation grew as my friend group, because everyone and their fucking mom was obsessed with this movie. My friends got me more into it. I feel like by the time I was like ending high school, I was like, this movie fucks. So I had a weird journey with it. How about you?
Yeah. Well, okay, so we were at we're very close in age, but
no, but this hit us at different.
Because I was 8 or 9.
Okay,
I was 8 or 9. So like this
is the audience.
Big deal for me.
Yeah.
Yes, and like it's so funny, like that age, like it's only like 9.
No,
10,
that's
like, only 3 years.
No, that's
a big 3 years of development in your brain. Because fully, if I saw this movie at 12, I'd be like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Maybe
that's how Camp Rock was for me. Like I remember watching Camp Rock and being like, "This is stupid."
Yeah.
But yeah, back when I watched this the first time, I was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait for high school. Like, this is going to be so cool." Like, I thought everyone was so cute. And, like, it was just, I loved the story. I was so engaged. Everything about it was just, like, I think it really honestly defined me as a person.
Really?
Like, I learned the dances. Yeah, I learned, we're all in this together. Like, and I
learned that too, honestly. But later in life.
Gabriella. And I liked Gabriella.
Okay,
so we're going to be fighting about this.
No, we're on it. Well, didn't you just text me and you were like, actually, on a second rewatch, like, she's kind of annoying?
Not Gabriella, Sharpay.
You didn't like Sharpay?
No. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah. That's okay.
We're going to have a lot to discuss.
No, I can't wait to honestly get
Which
into
is crazy because it's so funny. Like, I feel like I went through this phase when I first saw this movie where I was like, I don't like her. Like, she's a mean girl. And then when I was older, I was like, actually, no. Like, she kind of, like, was that would suck to be like in your high school theater program and have it taken over by some randos and like take you off your spotlight. But now that I'm older again, I'm like, actually, no, she was kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
She was kind of a bitch.
No, I don't disagree.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we should just dive right in.
Let's get the fuck in.
Okay. We start with this shot of this, like, first of all, we get Disney Channel original movie, and then we get the shot of this like half CGI, half real like ski lounge. And we open up on all these preteens celebrating the new year. And it's...
Did you just take a look at these extras? I mean,
thank God!
I could have spent 10 days just watching each one in the background with their fucking hats.
I'm so glad you brought this up because the background actors in this entire movie, quite frankly, but most notably in this first like Aspen setting, they were another level. And the age range, there are some that are 8 years old, there are some that are 45. And like the age range on this teen party is crazy. But they're all, and it's so funny because they look so miserable too. Yeah. But there's like these like wow, like party noises going on in the background. And you see some kids like it was like the most jarring thing. I was cracking up. It was so funny.
Awesome.
I'm so glad you noticed.
Of course. I think one of the first things that cued me into this, so I was looking at them on purpose, was I saw a TikTok. It got like millions of views. It's of like a 3-second clip when they're panning by a pillar and there's just a girl going. And I saw it's fucking phenomenal. It's so good.
There's just a level of like numbness that they all have. They all look like they've been on set for
They look
hours.
like they're being like brain programmed. Like there's some radio frequency going over and they're all like
they all look like really fucked up in almost a scary, insidious way, but they're such a joy to watch.
Yeah.
Anyway, we kind of cut to Gabriella's mom, who is dressed like a fortune teller. Like, I love her outfit, and she finds Gabriella on this ratty couch, and she's reading a book because she's what? Why?
She's
Why is she reading
not like other fucking girls, bro. You know me immediately. I'm like, oh.
I knew. Every Gabriella scene, I knew you were cringing. I knew your eyes were twitching. I knew she was like the last thing you wanted to see.
I'm like, dude, you know how boys used to always do this? Do you know what I'm talking about? Wow.
Yeah, which Zac Efron does a lot in this film.
He totally does. I mean, I found this annoying even when I was a kid, but I didn't quite know why. And now I just completely understand. Like, her mom's like, we gotta get you the party. Her mom's like, we gotta, like, she's like trying to whore her out. She's like, I laid out your best clothes. Like, put the book down. Get out there and fuck somebody, you know?
Yeah.
And Gabriella's like, what the fuck does she say? She's like, and listen, ladies, I am a book girl. I love books, okay? I've been reading in public. I've been reading when I've, like, crossed the street and almost run into someone. Like, I get it, but, like, shut up.
Yeah. Well, it sets up this weird trope for girls who like books in real life that, like, you're only interested in reading books and you're not interested in a social life.
And it
like,
also, it sets up this trope that, like, girls that are interested in a social life, oh, well, you're just like every other girl, and boys don't actually want other girls. They don't want, if you're girly, they don't want you. They want the different girl. And they name her that.
Which is funny because that's exactly what this movie's trying to battle. That, like, you should only be pigeonholed into liking one thing.
Right. That's such a good point. And that's, I think, honestly, one of the reasons I was, like, psychoanalyzing this. I was like, why did this film? Because this was, like, a cultural reset. You could not escape this. It was on lunch boxes. It was, like, it ended up going to theaters. Like, it was so widely adored. And I think, honestly, the big lesson of, like, escaping a clique really hit for kids. But then they push this narrative at the same time of, good point.
Well, no movie's perfect. But yeah, that was definitely that whole, like, I don't want to socialize, I want to read books is so, like, so tired. I mean, but anyway. She's like, go, please hang out with people your own age. Like, and Gabriella's like, oh, fine, whatever. Then we cut to Troy and his dad playing basketball because that's the only thing they do together. Mm-hmm. And Troy's mom, who's, like, literally also dressed like a fortune teller.
Notice
like,
that.
Please go look back, folks. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Or, like, weird, but like, she's scarf wrap thing.
Yeah, like, it was very, like, and she's like, please go hang out with kids your own age and, like, stop playing basketball. And he's like, okay, fine. So they go, and we kind of cut to the party. Troy and Gabriella are showing up. Gabriella arrives with her fucking book.
She's reading at the party. I was
like, escape it for a moment, girl. And then Troy is wearing, like, a terrible suit. And I was like, I should be focused on them, but I can't stop looking at the background characters.
Because they were so good, they steal the scene.
It was like a masterclass on how to draw attention. Like, they were all fighting for that spot. I don't know what. It was just
you're so
good.
Right. They are. It does feel like low-key fighting for the spotlight. And they were getting it.
And God bless them.
God bless.
Because who knows? I might have done the same thing.
No, honestly.
I might have done the same thing.
I honestly might have too.
But they play this stupid game at this party where it's like whoever the spotlight lands on, they have to sing a karaoke song. And of course, as you could probably guess, the spotlight lands on Troy and Gabriella. And it's just, I mean, it's the start of something new. And that's exactly what it is. And they start singing, and Gabriella is doing this, like, very I'm not like other girls acting too, where she's like hugging herself. Oh my god,
and like with her hair. Yeah.
It's very exhaustive.
I thought it was kind of cute though when the guy who was, like, running this game goes, someday you guys might thank me for this. Like, I was like, oh, that is kind of cute.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cute. And, like, as cringy and as bad, like, the setup of this movie, you could be like, this is gonna be shit. But this song immediately, I was
my god, stop.
Why is it?
I'm so glad. I couldn't tell if I was just, like, fucking brain rotted or if, like, this was genuinely, like, a heartwarming scene. But, like, I think it's also the fact that this, like, they start dating in real life.
I know.
Like,
I was gonna
Zac
say
Efron.
Another thing about this movie, you can feel the genuine chemistry between the two of them.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't feel like that overacted kind of bullshit.
Yes.
Like, of course they have those cheesy lines, but, you know, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I just feel like this song represents, like, so much about that. I think that's why I was literally tearing up.
I was like, am I going to cry?
they're so young, and like this is where they met each other, and like the fact that it really is like the start of something new in the sense of the movie and like them
Their real
as
life.
people.
Mhm.
It's so I just was making me emotional.
Same. I got
and it
goosebumps.
was really sweet, and the acting was genuine and cute.
Totally agree.
And like that is like I couldn't help but compare this movie to Camp Rock, where everything in Camp Rock feels very put on.
I was gonna say
extra.
the same thing. Like, honestly, respect if this is your opinion, and I think Seth is gonna listen to this podcast. I'm sorry, honey. It's just the wrong opinion. I love you so much, but he picks Camp Rock over High School Musical, and I'm like, that's just wrong. It's
wrong. It's inherently wrong. The performances are
the story, the songs,
everything about it. I mean, and Camp Rock was made as a response to High School Musical to try and create that magic again, and they did in their own kind of way, but it just was not the same.
No.
Was not the same. And like you could just feel like that magic between Troy and
I
Gabrielle.
agree.
I'm sorry.
I honestly
and like
agree.
I was watching this, like I was watching them perform, like the background performers were watching them perform too. I was like, yeah, come on. Like I was just having such a good time.
So was I.
I will say it is very jarring when Drew Seeley's voice cuts in for Troy.
I do absolutely agree with that, and also like Zac Efron like lip syncing for his life is just
right. But he's trying his best.
I also
but it's such an awkward
why
situation.
They did that, because didn't he sing in the other ones?
He did, but in this movie, I guess he could not hit the notes.
Okay.
So they were, I don't know. I think that's just what they thought was the best option.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I also learned that those roles, Troy and Gabrielle, were cast to different people, and like they both had to cancel because of like scheduling conflict. Like the girl who's supposed to play yeah, the girl who was supposed to play Gabriella, who literally got cast, was some girl from Degrassi. I forgot her name. And then the boy who was supposed to be cast is that kind of asshole douchey boy that's in Zoe 101.
Oh my god, I know you're talking. Logan is the character called Logan.
He literally got cast but couldn't do it because of Zoe 101. And so they were both kind of the second choice.
But
and thank God,
catapulted to like extreme stardom from this.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They must have hated their fucking lives.
Holy
those two
shit,
that were originally casted.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, this song is just really cute and really endearing, and
I love it. Banger.
They introduce themselves to each other after the song ends, and we get this like scene where they're on the deck of whatever ski lodge they're at, and they're talking and getting to know each other, and it's very cute, very flirty. And then it's New Year's, and they give this look at each other of like, are we gonna kiss? Right now?
And then they're like, oh, I guess I should go wish my mom a Happy New Year.
Yeah. Like literally. And also, did you see how like all the fireworks went off at once? Like that looked like a hazard.
It was terrifying. It was like,
it looked
and
like scary,
flaming on everyone's face. But
yeah,
I think my favorite part of the scene was when he was like, I should call you, and she goes, you should add your number, and they pass each other their phone. They go like this, and then hand it back. And I was like,
yeah, that's not really how it works. But
I always, for some reason, in these movies, like, technology really bothers me. Like,
oh, I know.
Especially also, like as a person who works in tech, like when they sent the code and it said transmitting Wi-Fi signal, I was over here like tweaking out, dude. I was not okay.
No, prop acting in Disney Channel original movies especially is so heinous. Especially like also like when they're walking out in that patio and they're carrying huge mugs of hot cocoa, but they're like, that always bothers me so much in movies.
I didn't notice that.
I hate in movies when people are holding coffee cups and there's clearly nothing in it, and they're like like it makes me so mad. I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, they basically exchange numbers, and Vanessa goes because she has to really desperately wish her mom a Happy New Year. I said Vanessa, Gabriella.
We know.
And they go, and then they never see each other again until cut to.
I was actually going to ask you though, as a quick pause, have you ever had an experience like that where you're on like a trip and you've like had a little like love affair on the trip? No.
I fucking wish. I wish.
Well, maybe it'll happen.
Have you?
I'm trying to think. I've had like trips where I've like hooked up with someone and then been like, okay, never see you again. Bye.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess, but never fallen in love where you're like, oh God, I hope to run into this person again.
Yeah, I don't know if I have.
But like this movie rotted my brain and made me think it was possible.
Well, maybe it will be one day, honey.
Oh God, I hope so. Oh God.
Oh God.
And then we show up at high school together, which we cut to East High. Classic. Which, I mean, is this not the most perfect high school ever?
Literally perfect. And you know what? One thing I will say, though, is this movie feels way more like high school. Like, you know, in all the Disney Channel originals shows, I was like, it always felt like a set. But, like, this was actually shot at a real high school, and it felt like that.
Yeah.
But also,
real high school in Salt Lake City,
yes.
I looked up.
Yes.
But also, did maybe, like, for you as a Canadian watching this, were you like, is this like what American high school is like? Or did this feel very like, oh, this is kind of my high school experience as well?
I mean, a lot of it was my high school experience. The things that really were not Canadian are like the sports teams. Like, I've always been like, I always thought that they just did it in the movies. I didn't think it was real. But I'm starting to think that these sports games, like cheerleaders, we didn't have cheerleaders. We didn't have these big sports games where like the students were like celebrities in the school. Like I thought that was just a thing they made up in movies.
No, it's real.
Do they have
it is pretty real.
Posters of the school team around the school?
Sometimes
No
like at our school
way.
they did. Not that big, like how it is in this one, but yeah, there were posters with them on it. And they would have like photo shoots and shit.
That's fucking wild. The one, like, okay, I played on my school's sports team. My dad coached me in basketball. And I did theater. Suddenly I was like,
am I literally Troy?
Because I literally played on the school's basketball team and the volleyball team. And my dad was my coach. And then I was like, I kind of want to do theater, but I don't have time to do both.
Oh my God. Wait, maybe you are.
Maybe I was. Well, I just quit. I think I quit the sports for a bit and did theater.
Fuck.
And then came back and did both. But anyway, I was like, okay, this is my life.
Whereas my life really paralleled Ryan's for sure.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly, yes, I was.
The musicals.
I was actually talking to my friends about this like the other day. We were talking about like movies and in TV shows in general, and it was like, have you ever resonated? Like, have you ever fully seen yourself in a character on screen?
Yes.
And I was thinking, and I was like, I can't think of any character that I fully like have felt like, oh my God, that's me. Like I'm watching me. And then I saw Ryan and I was like, that could have been me. It could have been me. I think now that I'm removed from high school, I'm like, yeah, that was probably me in high school.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. But have you and who's that character? I have to know.
Have you ever seen The Legend of Korra? It's like an obscure kind of like anime-esque show. But when I watched that show for the first time, I was like, this bitch is me. And in all the bad ways too. Her name is Cora. Mm-hmm. She makes so many mistakes. She acts sometimes with a little bit of rage. Hates getting up early. Like it was like almost hard to watch because I was like, I feel like I've done this before, and I was like, oh, it was a very intense experience. I've never had it like that serious before, where I was like, yeah.
I thought that would feel like a good thing because you're like, oh my God, I feel represented. But no, it was kind of not.
I mean, yes and no. It was good in some ways, but also bad in other ways. Cora is also a very controversial character that some people hate, some people love. So I was like,
oh, fuck. Okay, well, that'll do it.
Yeah, there you go. But that's interesting.
I really see myself in Ryan.
Okay.
Anyway, we cut back to East High. When it's after Christmas break, it's fully hot because I forgot that they're in Arizona. I was like, is this summer break?
Right.
But this was really gagging me. But no, they're in Arizona, so it's like, whatever. And Troy gets off the bus and everyone is celebrating
by 35 fans.
He's like a celebrity. I will say it's not quite to that extent in American high school, but he's very humble about it. He's greeted by his friend Chad, who tells him they're going to get ready for the championship or whatever. Like it's coming up. Like that's the one thing about this movie. They don't shut the fuck up about the fucking championship.
I also watching this scene, I was like, is everyone snorting something? Like they all have so much energy.
Energy.
I remembered in high school, I used to have so much energy. We would get up every day, 7 a.m., go to school all day. 3 p.m. would hit. I would go to like sports practice till 5 p.m. Then I would like go to rehearsal, come home, do homework, go to bed. And I was rested the whole time.
They're just energized and hormonal. I think that's really genuinely what it is. I miss that energy too. I miss it so bad.
So much.
I know. Where did it go?
Oh.
When did it end?
All the enjoyment.
Anyway, it's just kind of, this whole scene is just an introduction of characters. We get introduced to Ryan and Sharpay and the cliques, right? And then Taylor is like setting up the poster for like the academic, and basically all these cliques are not getting along. They all kind of like make comments
about each other.
They just don't get along. There's no cohesion whatsoever. And we kind of cut to Gabriella getting escorted into the school by her mom and the principal, and she's very nervous. And the dialogue here killed me. The dialogue here killed me because she keeps bringing up at her old school that she was the weird math freaky girl or something. What does she say? Like the freaky genius girl. That's what she calls herself. And like that's her big plight in life, that the people thought she was a freaky genius girl. And it really, I guess, bothered. I don't know if she got bullied. I don't claim to know her story, okay? But so I doubt that she was getting I mean, she's gorgeous.
She wasn't like getting bullied. Beautiful. I'm invalidating her experience.
She was not getting bullied. But I did love her mom's response to this. She's like, her mom just says like, well, I told my company we can't transfer until you graduate. That's what her mom says. Like, sorry, like,
sorry, girl.
She's like, and then she's like, I don't want to be the freaky genius girl, and her mom's like, just be Gabriella, which is apparently a freaky genius girl. So I don't know what to tell her, but like, whatever. Gabriella's first class starts, and it's this class where basically every main character that we've been introduced to so far is in the class.
Love that.
I can't believe it works out that way, but it does.
Love that.
And it's this theater class, and we're introduced to Miss Darbus, who I love. You could probably guess.
So iconic. I mean, like, every line that she has, I love how she gets all the sports references wrong. She's like, this is not a hockey arena, referencing the basketball. And she was like, you're a sports posse. And they were like, do you mean team? Like, team? So good.
I know, like, what do you think her story is, too? Like,
definitely a failed actress, for sure. Moved to LA or tried to get on Broadway for years. Maybe made it as a background character. Eventually was like, I'm going to move to my hometown and become a drama teacher, for sure.
Do you think she was a lesbian? Do you think she's a lesbian?
That's tough. Definitely has tried it.
She's got Ms. Darbus. That was the thing. That was because she's not Mrs. Darbus. It's Ms. Whenever there's a Ms. going on, I know there's there's another side to the story. Any Ms., any teacher that had a Ms. in her name.
You were like, who hurt you?
Like, we had Ms. Fergus, who was like also our drama teacher, and she was, I think she had a queer story going on that we couldn't know about. And so I feel like Miss Darbus, like, I don't know, or her like she's divorced, or I don't know, but there's something to Ms. Darbus's story that I want to know, and I would read a book about it.
I would read a book about that too. Also, it's so fucking annoying that women have to have that prefix. We have to tell you if we're married, never been married, have been married, and men are just Mr.
Yeah, fully.
Literally no.
Yeah, that's not okay. I know. It always bothered me too.
Yeah,
because also there's like a matronliness to being Ms.
Yes.
Like,
it's like, oh, you're undesirable now. You're in the mom category.
Yeah, because you can't be Miss anymore. No. Yeah, it's real fucked up and weird.
I agree.
Anyway.
Troy basically, he's like, I think that's the girl that I met from the thing. Right. So he, like, calls her number, which was honestly genius, and it starts ringing in the class. And then he's like, oh, fuck, it is her. And then Miss Darbus has some of her iconic lines, collects everyone's cans in her, like, paint can, collects all their phones, and says, you're all basically going to detention. And Troy is like, whatever, waits for Gabriella outside and then kind of accosts her and is like, what is this where they're like, me either, you, I didn't, never, wow.
We finish each other.
Sandwiches.
Yeah. And I also will say I had to count because like this was the shortest class period of all time. Because the bell, I had to go back and
How long?
So it was a minute and 29 seconds. From like, because there's a class bell that starts it.
I remember that.
And then there's a class end bell. I'm like, how does that? Anyway, it was a minute and 29 seconds. But yes, they meet outside of class and it's immediately, oh my God, is that hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they talking? They really don't talk about nothing, really.
I can't believe it. Me either. Like, they're just like, oh my God, you go here now.
They're so in sync. And they're just so in sync.
And then it cuts to the basketball court, right? And now Troy has kind of been thrown off, or does something else happen in the meantime?
Yeah, something else happens. They arrive at the audition sign-up board because that's just where they're walking, I guess. And Sharpay shows up, and we have this little interaction between Sharpay and the new girl and Troy, because Sharpay clearly has a crush on Troy.
Oh, big time.
And I wish we could have gotten some backstory on this. Like, I wonder if they hooked up. I kind of am guessing they did.
Ooh.
But yeah, there's like this weird tension, and they're like, you can tell they're thinking about signing up because they have this singing background going on. And yeah, anyway, Gabriella walks away, and then Troy and Sharpay have this conversation where Troy's not really giving her the time of day, and you can tell this really bothers Sharpay, and she has a shot where she looks at Gabriella and she's like pissed off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think they had a thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think I think Sharpay and Troy had a thing.
It would make sense.
That seems like what it is.
Yeah.
Sharpay gets so invested in their doing the callback that like I feel like there's something else to it.
And doesn't this carries into the second one too? Like she
does
totally
carry
has
into
a
the
crush
second
on him
film.
in the second one.
Yeah, it fully does.
I saw a TikTok the other day that this guy was like, the world can be divided into two people. You either had a party that was High School Musical 2 themed for the premiere of the second one, or you were a fucking loser.
I did have a party for that.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I think I went to one.
It was a viewing thing. Like
yeah.
Like,
everyone for the day that it was. Yeah. No.
We got together and everything. Yeah.
Oh
but yeah, it was just such a fucking cultural phenomenon. But yeah, anyway, you could just tell there's some weird dynamic between the three of them.
Yes.
That I don't know. Then we cut to basketball practice, and Troy's talking to Chad about the musical, and Chad is so like anti-musical, anti-theater. It was exhausting.
Yeah.
I was like, get a grip.
Chad's a literal misogynist. Also, did we notice his shirts? I come with my own background music.
Yeah,
there's another one that said
fashion choices for
so
sure.
Good. I want all of them.
He was also the youngest person in the cast, I believe.
How old is he?
He was only like 16.
That's why he has so much hyper energy.
And you want to know what's crazy? His love interest, Taylor.
Yeah.
She's a full 9 years older than him.
You cannot even tell.
I know.
You can't even tell.
I know, but isn't that crazy?
She does have a more mature vibe to her, though.
Fully.
That makes a lot of sense. She was like in her 20s then.
She was my age, like they am now.
She was 26. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
25, 26.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, maybe like 25. But yeah, fully. That would be like me having on-screen romance with a 16-year-old. Barfaroony.
Wait, that actually is shocking.
Like,
and illegal.
shocking.
And illegal.
And illegal, fully. But yeah, they didn't really like
they didn't kiss or anything.
They just
still...
like, yeah, it's just weird. But I mean, it's not. I mean, good for her. She got a job.
Yeah, right.
She got the job.
Right. And as Chad is roasting Troy in this scene, I couldn't help but think of one of my favorite Sue Sylvester quotes, which is, just because you like show tunes doesn't mean you're gay. It just means you're awful. And like, that was the energy he's giving this entire speech.
You're dead on, because exactly. He's so anti-musical, and I'm like, just get over it.
And misogynistic-y vibes.
Right. That's just the culture of East High, I guess. Everyone's just so in their own. Stick to the status quo, which we will get. Oh my god, that number! What a number. Okay,
but we're about to get one of my favorite numbers, which is.
Right.
Coach said to fake right and break left. Watch out for the picky, keep it on defense. You gotta run the give and go, take the ball to the hole, and don't be afraid to shoot the outside, Jay.
You really know the words.
I
see. This was my least favorite number historically.
Right. Okay.
I hate an all boys number. I just hate an all boys number.
And that's
like,
so
give
valid.
Me the girls.
That's so valid.
And I could never knew the words. Chochetsu, fake left, and break right. No, right left. Watch your both feet and get on the fit. Like, I don't know what they're saying at all. But I kind of black out during this number.
It's so fair. Because I actually played basketball, I would always be like, oh my God, give and go. Like, they're setting a pick. I was like, oh my God. And they're singing about it.
What's the outside J? What's the outside J?
That's just a fucking dramatic way of saying, like, I think it's like a 3-pointer, like a far away shot. But, and a give and go is like you pass the ball, the other person's like running, and then you run, and then they pass it back to you and you shoot.
My brain is fully doing like Gabriella's math equations in my head right now. Work. I mean, God bless. I mean, they seem to be knowing what they're doing. Actually, I don't know if I could say that. Their basketball playing is very much like theater kids playing basketball.
No, you're so right.
It's very funny. It's also the shortest championship basketball team you've ever seen. Like, literally height-wise. They're all tiny.
They're tiny. Good point.
But whatever. It's just so funny. Drew Seeley singing. It doesn't sound remotely like Zac Efron, but like Drew's eating it up. And I was cracking up at Troy's like bouncy choreography of like running around, like something about like the way he
I know what you
interacts
mean.
with everyone. It's so bouncy and like it's just so not athletic, but it's like funny. I don't know.
I thought he was a pretty good dancer.
Oh, he is a great dancer, but it's just like there's a difference.
I know exactly
between, like,
what you
being
mean.
a good dancer and being like athletic.
Yeah, I know
feel
exactly
like.
what you mean.
I don't know. But that semicircle moment where they're like, "Why am I feeling so
wrong?" Oh my god! You know, in the third movie when she's like, "Try."
Oh,
right
yes,
now I can hardly breathe. Damn, you can do it.
Yeah. That scene just cracks me up.
So good.
But yeah, it's a great number. I mean, it's probably, in my opinion, the weakest song in the movie,
but it's still good.
I know it's a fan favorite.
That's fair.
And then basically they just finish practicing and the scene ends. We have this is just a stupid scene. Gabrielle and Sharpay are in science class. Sharpay is like kind of egging Gabrielle on about Troy, and then Gabriella corrects her teacher about how this should be 16 over pi, and she's like, I stand corrected. And she's like smiling the whole time. I would have been like, if I was the teacher, I'd be like, fuck you.
Also, she's like 9 months pregnant. She looks like she was to give birth in the classroom right now. I was like, oh.
Girl, go on maternity leave. But that's America.
Well, exactly. She can't afford that. And then doesn't Sharpay go to the internet and she's like, something fishy is going on here, and like Googles Gabriella, which this scene again, it said the search engine was called Search the Internet. I was like,
I know.
Just make it Yahoo.
They can never get the internet right in movies. I don't know. It's like always like it's a weird.
Why have these people who make these films never touched a computer? Like,
I know.
It really
you don't think it would be that hard.
You know, I know. Another thing that's always really bothered me is if someone opens up, especially nowadays with texting, if they open up a text history with their best friend and they send a text and it's the first one.
So true.
Triggers me.
Oh my God, so true. I know. You're so right. Yeah, that's like, come on. Are we Martians making this movie?
No!
Like, come on.
There is like an R&B music video, and I don't remember which one it is, but the girl...
Oh, I know exactly which one you're talking
about. In the Excel sheet?
Yes, it's in the song, No Matter What I Do. Dilemma. Yeah.
Is you.
In Excel, girl?
Oh my God, it's so good. She's like in the cells typing like you up or whatever the fuck.
Like, what? It cracks me up. I don't know. And they think we're stupid. And honestly, like, a lot of viewers are stupid, but maybe like, I don't know. How do you not think like maybe we should make this look a little bit more believable?
Yeah. Real.
Whatever. Anyway, Taylor asks Gabriella to join the Scholastic Decathlon because she figures out that she's smarty pants because Sharpay puts that printout in Taylor's locker.
Yes.
And then
Ryan also calls her an Einsteinette.
Ryan, for being a main character, he's really doesn't have a lot of dialogue in this movie.
Never speaks.
Yeah. I guess he's not really big until like the second and third movie, but like, yeah, in this movie he's kind of like a throwaway background character.
Yeah, I think
which is so funny.
People must have loved him enough that they gave him like more of a role in the future ones. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then I guess at this point they're all in detention, right? And that's when she goes, "The answer is yes." And Gabriella's like, "What the fuck? I like didn't put that in your locker." And then one of my favorite lines for some reason, whole movie, is when the coach barges in and he goes, "What the heck are those two doing in a tree?" I don't know why it's always like satisfied me the way he says that.
Yeah, his delivery on it, and then he's like, "Where's George at?"
Yeah,
I love when he says that too.
You did that really fucking well.
Thank you. I also think Coach Bolton is so hot.
Yeah, I knew this was coming.
Oh my God, Dilf alert!
Have you seen him on TikTok, like making thirsty edits of like himself?
No, but I have. I'll follow him.
Definitely,
right after this.
Just look him up.
Yeah, he's so hot. I'm sure he's aged so well too. But yeah, this is basically like Coach Bolton's kind of like anti-theater thing too. Like he's like, what the fuck are they doing here?
Yeah.
It starts this whole like fight between Ms. Darbus, and Coach Bolton. They like go to the principal and like talk about it too.
Yes.
Like they just have some fucking feud going on, which actually By the way, the director of this film is Kenny Ortega, which he's directed Hocus Pocus.
Okay, we've heard that name before.
Cheetah Girls. Yes, he's just like a very good director. I love him.
Yep.
But he wanted them to have a duet, like anything you can do, I can do better, like that kind of duet together.
I would have loved that.
I know, but the movie was just too long.
It's fucking long.
Yeah, but he wanted it to be in the film really bad.
I would have loved that. I also, before I did theater, I used to build the sets. Did you ever do anything like I was in the stagecraft?
No, I was never in the prop department.
Okay, well.
I was never a stagehand. No, I was always on the stage. So. I was always in a leading role on the stage, so you can't really shine the lights and be in the spotlight at the same time.
That was literally what made me want to do theater, because my parents only put me in sports. But then when I was like building the sets, I remember one night it was like Annie, and I like moved the fucking desk on the stage and then went off, and I was like, what if I were to just go out there? That could be kind of fun.
Yeah, what if I were to actually be
auditioned the next year for the musical?
See, and like, were you like, okay, this is why I like this so much? Like, you're like, this is why I liked being on the stage so much. Like, I just actually wanted to be on it. This is what I actually
want to be doing. 100%.
Yeah,
never went back.
I get that's a good gateway. I feel like
really,
like a lot of. I feel like a lot of like what are they called? Set people or what? I'm such a bitch right now. What are the people that were? What are the people that work on set?
My minions?
No, what's the name? Stagehands? Not stagehands.
Like the crew? Like the crew?
Yes, the crew. The crew. Like, I feel like a lot of the crew are just closet theater kids. Like, they want to do it.
Right.
I got that vibe from a lot of the crew in high school.
Right.
Like, they... Like, no, granted, there were some, like, I love those broads that were just carried around the tool belts and were, like, hammering away. Like, they were where they needed to be. But, like, there were some of the boys that were, like...
Right.
Like, they wanted the spotlight a little bit.
I hear that. I totally see that.
Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, basically, they're in detention. They go back to practice, whatever. And then we kind of cut to after school. Taylor and Gabriella are talking about Troy and joining the Scholastic Decathlon again. And Gabriella's like, well... Like, Taylor's really, like giving it to Troy and being like, he's just a stupid jock, whatever. Gabriella's like, well, you should talk to him. Like, he's actually really a good guy. But Taylor's really, like, anti-Troy. That's basically it.
Yep. Then it's Dad and Troy practicing. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
It's like
basically.
Does it even anything happen in this?
It's, again, like we said. Oh, sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, this scene was kind of cute in the sense of, like, Troy was like, have you ever thought about trying something new but being afraid of what your friends might think? I truly, as I was psychoanalyzing this film, I was like, why was this such a big deal? And, I mean, this is such a big thing in high school. I have this theory, and I don't think it's a theory. This is not, like, groundbreaking or anything. But, like, when you're a kid, you're, like, the truest expression of yourself. When you get to high school and middle school, you start to get really insecure and really try to conform and, like, do whatever you can to survive because everyone's kind of mean and everyone's uncomfortable and everyone's whatever. And then as you get older, it's all about like re-becoming who you were as a kid and reclaiming that happiness. And this is my theory about growth in life.
That's very profound, actually.
Thank you.
Because you really do lose a lot of yourself in those years.
I think everybody does to an extent. And I think because everyone can relate to that, this is such when you're that age, you're fucking terrified of what other people think. And it does cripple you from doing a lot of things, I think. And I thought that this is like this thread line throughout the whole thing being this is so relatable to kids, and then filled with the glitz and dazzle and great songs and good acting. And that was my theory of why it did so well. But at its core, I thought that was a really cool message to kids. They were like... It
is a really good message compared to fucking Camp Rock. I'm sorry, but like, what is the message of that film? Not to, like, to not pretend that you're poor. Like, that's... I don't if you're poor, just own it. Like, I'm sorry, like, High School Musical eats Camp Rock up.
I fucking agree with you, dude. And
it eats it up, and I'm sorry.
It has another layer of depth of, like, a man who plays sports who wants to sing, which is, like, objectively a more feminine thing to do, and he's worried that all of his bros are gonna judge him for it. Like, it's kind of deep, actually, in a way.
Well, and it's like, it's set in a high school as opposed to some fucking obscure performing arts camp that, like,
no one's going to.
In reality, only rich kids are going to. Like, everybody goes to fucking high school, you know?
Totally. It's way more, like, I
don't know. I just feel like if you think Camp Rock... Sorry, Seth. If you think Camp Rock is better... You're kidding yourself. You're fooling yourself. Okay?
You're just frankly
this movie's
wrong.
better.
You're just wrong.
You're just wrong. Okay. I'm glad we're on the same page. Anyway, it's the next day. We're in theater class again. Jarvis announced that auditions are happening during free period.
Yep.
So after class, Troy and Chad are kind of walking. Troy is very uninvested in the conversation. He's like, anyway, I gotta go see you at practice, whatever. He goes and runs. And it's just like weird chase scene where Troy's avoiding Chad and his dad.
Did you have
like,
an actual garage at your high school?
We did.
No fucking way. That's a real thing?
Yeah. Where people were, yeah, if you were in shop.
People do. What is shop?
They work on cars.
No, that's not a real fucking class.
It's real. I swear to God. No, they work on cars there. And you could get your actual car, like, fixed up by them if you knew someone.
By a 15-year-old at the high school?
Well, like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. But, like, you had to, like, know somebody that was in the class.
That shit is crazy, dude.
I mean, it is kind of a cool skill to teach in high school.
It totally is. I just am like...
Yeah. Yeah, we had a garage.
Wow, okay, so cool.
Yeah. Anyway, he sneaks through the garage and everything, and he shows up at the auditorium where they're holding auditions, and he's kind of hiding behind this janitor cart, trying to not be seen or whatever. And this is when, like, my favorite scene in the movie starts.
Love this scene. Also, tell me
God.
Pitch Perfect did not steal this from High School Musical.
Oh, fully.
I was watching this, I was like, exactly the same.
Because, like, these kids in this audition room are just so I took notes on each kid because, like, each one really brought something new to the table. So they're auditioning for the show. It's like these solo auditions. The first girl, I didn't think she was too bad. I thought the key was just really high. Her. She was like, it's hard to believe.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
She was like, the stage presence was there. And I think she for sure would have made it into the show.
Okay.
And then the second boy was a lost cause. He was the one in the suit. And he kind of had a tie.
You were always right next to beside me.
Like, learn the words. My theory is he just kind of wanted to audition to get either Ryan or Sharpay's attention. I think he had a crush on one of them.
I love this analysis.
Yeah. The third girl was my favorite.
Which one's she?
I love she's the one. She's kind of the Sharpay reject. She's on the piano like wink. This. Yes, and there's some it's just like there's a numbness to her that is really intoxicating. Where she's like she's really pitchy, but she's owning it. Like, she felt like a real person. Like, I was definitely for sure in a theater production with a girl like that.
Right.
And I loved her. The fourth girl, this is what pissed me off. The fourth girl was the opera chick who, like, had a great voice.
I don't really remember her.
She's like, what I've been looking for. You know what you don't remember her? She's fully singing opera. So good. But then Miss Darbus, she's finished singing. And then Mrs. Darbus is like, maybe next spring's musical.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, you bitch. She fully would have made it in the show.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? And this is what pisses me off about the whole theater department at East High is so backwards. Because, like, you're rejecting these very talented kids. Like, first of all, no one shows up for this fucking audition. If auditions were like that, you'd be like, if you're the director, you'd be like, oh my God, fuck.
Yeah.
No one's going to be in this show.
Yeah.
It's only Sharpay and Ryan, and they're the only people that are getting the lead roles. It's like, what kind of, like, hierarchy, political shit is going on here? Yeah. Like, it's not fair. No one's going to want to audition. I'm, like, getting way too invested.
No, I get it. No, I love this.
But I'm like, that's why I'm so team Troy and Gabriella in this instance, as opposed to team Ryan and Sharpay, is because, like, your theater department is clearly suffering.
No, they need people. You need more people.
You need people. And, like, oh my God, if we would have had an all-star jock joining
it'll bring
the
people
musical,
in to fucking come see the show.
Because then his teammates join and they want to be in the show.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, the ticket. You always wanted a popular boy in the show.
Absolutely.
Because you were like, fuck yeah, like, we're going to get an audience.
Yep, totally.
That's why I was so, like, anti-Sharpay. I was like, girl, like, this should be a celebration. And if you're really meant for the role,
you'll get
then put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, period.
Don't be a hater.
Period. You're so right.
Don't be a hater.
You're so right.
I don't know. That's why I was a little bit, like, annoyed with Sharpay, because I was like, girl, come on.
No, honey, I think that's so valid. I just, if I'm going to pick who's pissing me off more, it's Gabriella. But everything you're saying is facts.
Thank you, mama.
You're welcome,
Thank you,
baby.
pumpkin.
You're welcome.
But yeah, anyway, that was my little thing. Anyway,
you didn't talk about my favorite character, the man who dances, doesn't say a single word, then eats shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved him.
Loved him.
He was like, we're like, this is not the dance audition.
And everyone's like,
worried. They're worried because it was a big crash. And I also loved the 6 kids, like the 2 kids who were like the last.
Oh yeah, it's
were, like,
hard to believe.
Interpretive.
I couldn't see. Yeah, loved them.
And then Mrs. Jarvis is like,
she said something.
That was very disturbing. Go see a counselor. Like she ate them up, and she's
so
true.
Fucking funny.
It was
funny.
disturbing.
It was,
and like they're on drugs or something.
Yeah.
Then it's Sharpay and Ryan's turn to audition, and it's such a good performance. Oh, I also have to ask, like, what are your thoughts on Kelsey?
That's so interesting.
My
thoughts on Kelsey are complicated. I've always been like, I kind of want to punch her in the face, but I also like don't, because she writes great songs. But like, stop being so mousy and weird about it. I don't know.
To me, she's more annoying than Gabriella.
I get it.
She's way more like she's like.
Oh my god, when she like trips and all of her music goes everywhere, I was like,
oh god, give me a break. That made me so mad. Oh god,
Are we bullies?
Oh, some people deserve it.
All I'm saying
Martin, cut that out. Martin, cut that out.
Martin, leave that in.
Martin,
leave that in. All I'm saying is that it builds character.
Me in this wig, some people deserve to be
Me in this wig?
Calls?
Yeah, they do.
Calls coming from inside the house.
Hey, if you've been bullied, you can say that. And I think
you're right.
Both, I think looking at us.
Safe to say we've both been bullied. I think it's pretty clear. Yeah. No, it's true. But anyway, their performance starts, and like, I love it. I think it's great. I love their performance quality.
Yep.
I think their voices are great. Sharpay's giving a little Britney Spears in her
vocal
tone,
yeah.
Which I love.
I hear that.
Ryan,
I thought Ryan was so
voice.
Good. Yeah. The tapping and the
so
jazz square pausing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cartwheel.
I've always thought this scene was funny. I will say the shot of Troy and Gabrielle in the back of the theater cringing triggered me. I was like, bitch.
This is good. You should be taking
you're
fucking
not
notes.
even brave enough to get on the
stage.
stage.
Yeah, good.
And you're
fair.
People that are.
So fair. So real. So
that
real.
made me mad.
Yeah.
But anyway. And it ends. And auditions end, and no one's going to audition. Miss Darvis announces on 5 separate times, like, okay, anybody else?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Really
nobody. Okay. Nobody. Anybody? Nobody. Okay. She finally says, okay, auditions are over. Then Gabriella decides, actually, and I was like, come on, girl. Like, anyway. And then Miss Darvis was like, no, literally, I announced like on 5 separate occasions, like, the auditions are over. You can't do it.
Yeah, the theater doesn't wait for you, which is real.
Right.
Curtain
Showbiz,
call,
baby.
Yeah.
And then Troy, and then she's like, and you don't have an audition partner. And then Troy's like, I'll sing with her.
Which was actually kind of cute. Yeah.
I know. I thought that was cute. And so they basically, she's like, okay, fine. And then Kelsey
eats shit.
Oh, wait, no. Miss Jarvis is like, no, you can't.
Leaves.
Anyway,
yeah.
Sorry, bye.
Yeah.
And then Kelsey makes a big attention to herself and like drops all of her papers
after
everywhere.
Sharpay was like, I made your number better. She was like, oh, if you get the part, like, it's actually not supposed to be like a dubstep remix sped up version TikTok.
Yeah.
And she's like, I actually just made your music better. How many productions have you been in? Oh, what was that? 0? Because I've been in 50. She honestly kind of ate her up with this speech.
I know she did. A little bitchy, but like she did eat her up.
A little bitchy though, for sure, because her music is great. And then basically Troy is like really, it was actually like very sweet. He's very sweet. He like helps her up. And then she's like, do you want to hear how it actually goes? And then they sing, and it's so good.
It's so good.
I honestly like we roast this movie because there's so much to roast, but then they have these incredibly like genuine moments that I'm like, sometimes I would just be watching and I realized, oh my god, I'm not taking any notes because there's nothing to roast here. It's just like,
I know,
good.
Well, for me, the real magic of this film, I've already said it, but like it's really like Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens' chemistry. And like when they're singing together, you really do see it.
I agree.
It's so inherently high school, the way they're like flirting with each other and smiling.
And sometimes I would just like watch her watching him. Like while he talks, she would just watch him and you're like, oh, she's down bad. You can tell.
Yeah, it's just so sweet.
Unfortunately, I agree.
Yeah, and not me standing a straight couple,
no,
but
I know.
can't help it. Like it's so sweet. Yeah, I think the way that it's just so cute. Anyway, they sing and they finish and they eat it up, and Miss Jarvis is like, okay, fine. Callbacks.
You ate that. Callbacks or whatever. Thursday.
Yeah, and yeah,
you have a callback.
And cut to the next day, Sharpay is screaming because she sees Troy and Gabriella's name on the callback list, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And honestly, the diva theater kid trope is honestly like real. It's a little caricaturized in this film, but it's real. Like we would. Oh my god! Every year, that was the thing at our high school too. Every year, we would have a show where there was like it was clear that the directors and the choir directors, whatever, they were setting up the performance for a particular senior in mind. For sure. However, they would do this every year where they, instead of giving it to that senior that everyone assumed it was going to, they would give it to a junior or a sophomore. They did it every year. We did Legally Blonde, and like there were seniors, like senior girls that were like, and they gave it to a junior. And then the next year, the girl that played Elle Woods in that production, it was Mary Poppins, and everyone thought she was going to be Mary Poppins. They didn't give it to her. They gave it to the sophomore.
Why the fuck did they do that?
They just, because we had some petty ass directors. But my senior year, we did, and I was kind of like the main boy of, not to brag, but I was the main boy of the theater program.
Of course.
And my senior year, we did Pippin, which is a male lead role. And I was like, I mean, I'm not stupid. I've been in this theater department for 3 years. I know they're going to make it seem like everyone's going to think it's going to me and then not give it to me.
What the fuck did they do?
And so, well, that's why when I auditioned, I was like, I don't want to be Pippin. I don't want to be Pippin. Just give it to someone else. I don't want it. So I just took my name out of the running and I was the king, which was like a background character. But I was like, I don't care. I don't want to play this fucking game because it is so humiliating.
Totally.
It was humiliating for all those girls every year when everyone's like, oh, it's going to be her. Oh, it's going to be her. And then she doesn't get it.
That's so shitty to do that to children. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I know. We just had some petty people in charge, I feel like.
Our rule at our school was like, if it was tied, it would always go to the older kid. Because if you were the younger kid, you had multiple years.
No, we did not have that rule.
That is shady as fuck. Obviously, if you were more talented and you were younger, it would go to you. But they said if it was ever a tie. That is fucking stupid. Well, I hope they feel good about themselves. I hope they feel good about themselves.
Well, I know, but that's why. And then they were like, "You don't want to be Pippin." I was like, "Why the fuck would I want to be Pippin?"
You're like, "Girl, I'm not playing this game."
Right, and also like I didn't want to be like that's a character where like he literally doesn't leave the stage, and I was like, "It's my senior year. Yeah, I don't want to be only thinking about the fucking musical."
Yeah, that's a lot,
to be honest. But anyway. There's weird social dynamics in the theater program. It's so fucking weird.
Oh my God,
if you're
and
a theater
it's all
kid,
horny. Like they're all fucking each other, all of them.
Yes. Well, yeah. There was lots of hormones going on. But maybe that's like maybe that's every extracurricular, and we just don't know.
I swear to God, that theater kids are like their own breed of that.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's extra charged because like you're watching these people on stage, and you know how you can like have a stage crush on someone. Like if you took them off the stage, you're like, oh, but they're out there singing, and there's something about it. Like I swear to God, it adds to the fucking drama of it all.
No, it's so true. I know. Yeah, fully. Did you ever see the SNL skit Crucible Cast Party?
No.
Or you have to look that up. It's about like the theater after the after show party that we always had. And it's just like the horniness of it all. You have to look it up.
At like an Applebee's or whatever the fuck.
Yes. Yeah. You have to look it up. It's so fun. So Sharpay, we went on a tangent.
I blacked out.
Wow. Okay, we'll rush through this stuff. So basically, they're all freaking out because Troy and Gabrielle are on the callback list.
And in the background, you can start to hear
status quo.
Yeah, my nipples were getting hard.
I know. And we cut to the lunchroom, and Sharpay's like, we need to show her. Somebody needs to tell this girl the rules of how it works at East High.
Yeah.
And then we get sick to the status quo.
Yep.
And I think it's so funny about the song. Like the purpose of the song is like, you can only do one thing. And the joke of the song is like, can you believe this guy's on the basketball team and he bakes? Like
this girl's a nerd,
likes math
and she likes
dances. But like when you're a kid, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like you're gagged about it. You're like, this is funny. And then now it's like, what?
That's so true. Like when Pop and Lock and Jam Girl goes, sometimes I think it's even better than homework. I was like, her entire identity is homework. at this school.
That girl exists fully. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a real person. Also,
so
all
funny.
the nerds, like they're driving it home so hard. They're all in bow ties, ties, and suspenders. I was like, did you ever see one kid show up in a bow tie at school?
No.
Neither.
No. I saw like tails and shit. I never saw a bow tie.
Okay. What the fuck?
You never had a kid at your school that had a tail? Oh, we did. We had a couple.
We had a couple.
You probably would have liked that shit, huh?
Okay. No, I am so fucking done with you right now.
I'm just kidding. No, we had a couple tailors. Yeah, those were always the kids that were like making out in the hallways, like mouth to mouth.
No, honestly, they got more pussy than the rest of us, to be honest.
Yeah.
So.
No pun intended. Anyway, so yeah, basically the song reaches a climax when Sharpay goes to confront Gabriella because she's like she's like fed up.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And Gabriella trips on milk and spills cheese fries all over Sharpay.
Slipping on some grape jelly.
And a sticky grape jelly. Yeah. And yeah, so
Lex.
it just gets all over her.
Yeah.
And then Miss Jarvis appears out of nowhere because, of course, she doesn't. Sharpay's like, you see, like these two,
they're trying to like,
sabotage the theater department, whatever.
And doesn't she say suddenly people think they can do other stuff that's not their stuff? And that sounds dumb, but I was like, low-key, this is deep. Like, this is deep. This is poetry.
It is poetry.
It is.
It's like Maya Angelou in a way. Yeah, you could say for sure. Yeah. Anyway, the next scene, Miss Jarvis, this is a stupid scene. Miss Jarvis goes to confront Coach Bolton in the men's locker room, and she's like, you're trying to sabotage my theater department because your son is auditioning. He's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Anyway, that's it. Cut to Gabriella and Taylor. The next day, they're talking about Sharpay and how basically Gabriella is like, she's like, I don't even mean to audition.
She goes, I
like,
wasn't trying to beat anyone out. Bitch, that is the purpose of an audition. You're auditioning to beat other people. Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I know. So that did piss me off. She's like, I wasn't even trying to audition. Girl, yes, you were.
Literally.
Yes, you were.
Take some fucking ownership. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
But she was like, and it just, I don't like all this attention, but I like how it feels when I sing with Troy, whatever. She's
wearing a butterfly clip in her hair. I was like.
And then, she said this. I was like, do you ever feel like there's another person inside of you looking for a way to come out? And I was like, girl, you gay. Girl, the gay experience. Talk to Ryan, I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, and then we have the stupid mini scene where Zeke goes to Sharpay and he's like, there's this like mini subplot where Zeke, the basketball player, kind of has a which I ship him, honestly.
I do too, because she's like stepping on his throat and he's into it.
Yeah. He definitely likes to be degraded. She walks him like a dog
for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. It was interesting.
I love how she yells at him, evaporate, tall person. And he's kind of like.
I know. He's like, I will evaporate.
Ew.
Then we cut to Gabriella. She's at her locker. She gets a note, which obviously is from Troy. He's like telling her to go up. They go to this like weird roof area where there's like plants and everything. Gabriella's like, is this like the jungle? No, it's not. There's just plants. There's potted plants.
The stupidest line of all time.
I know. But to be honest, I thought the same thing. I was like, that's such a dumb line. But I was like, that's some dumb shit I would say to a boy.
Really? That you liked?
I would.
You'd be like, this is like a jungle.
I always have word vomit.
I do.
When it's boys.
When I really like someone, I start to say things that I'm like, I've never said this in my entire life.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's so bad.
It's kind of endearing.
It is, but it's also like so cringe. Anyway, this was a cute little scene. I really actually loved this scene so much because they're just talking about school, and I like how we get a little bit of insight into Troy's psyche, which I thought was really interesting.
I agree.
Like, Gabriella's like, it must be so nice to be so well liked at the school, and he's like, yeah, it is nice unless we lose.
Yeah,
and I was like, I never thought about it like that,
seriously.
Especially like. Being a student athlete, like, it is nice when you win, and then, like, if you do lose, you have to go to school and answer to everybody about why you failed. Where it's, like, it's very different
all
than, like,
your value is, athlete. Like, put on that.
Right. Yeah. And it's different than, like, a professional athlete where you can just go back to your mansion and just ignore everybody, turn off your phone. But, like, when you're a student athlete, like, you have to go to school and answer to everybody. And if you, like, fully, like, just embarrass yourself on the court or whatever, like, everybody can make fun of you for that.
Absolutely.
Like that must be a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Not me emphasizing what is it? Empathizing. Not me empathizing with student athletes.
No, but like yeah, and it's
know?
we should let men be vulnerable, and Troy's being vulnerable here, and he's like, sometimes I don't want to be the basketball guy, I just want to be a guy. And I thought this conversation with where Gabrielle, I can't believe I'm about to like be a Gabriella defender, but when she was talking about how when you're like in kindergarten and you meet someone and you're best friends in 10 minutes, she was like, that's how it felt like singing with you. Like I just felt like myself. I was like,
wasn't that cute?
Why is that cute? That's fucking cute. And then when she gets nervous later and like won't sing, and he's like kindergarten. I was like,
I know. I love that little through line.
That
little through line gagged me. It was so cute.
And when she says to him, she's like, "You're a cool guy, Troy, but not for the reasons your friends think." When Bae sees you, you know.
I know. It's like the dialogue in this movie, I will say, is like again next level than other Disney Channel original movies.
So genuinely, none of it's like,
yes,
you're a cool guy, Troy, but
yeah,
not for the reason your friends think. Like,
it's so funny that you bring that up because like the Disney Channel acting, like when you think about it, like you can just obviously you can just picture it, but like it's really not evident in this. I wonder if it's
because they were not the two top picks. Maybe the top two were gonna give more of that, and they gave a little bit more of a genuine performance. But I honestly think that's one of the reasons it's so good.
I so agree. Oh God, we're always on the same page.
Well, not always. That's okay.
Anyway, the bell rings and they have to go.
Yeah.
Bye. We have this weird, ominous montage scene with music that shows Gabrielle and Troy rehearsing. It is
kind of ominous.
And like, there's that scene where Gabrielle is hiding in the bathroom and Sharpay walks in. And then she's like looking for, she thinks she hears her, and then she walks out, and then Gabrielle appears from like the corner from where Sharpay entered. So like Sharpay would have seen her.
Yeah.
Did you clock that?
Yes, I did.
It makes me so mad every time I see it, but whatever. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I just want to bring that up. Anyway, we cut to the gym and practice is ending, and that's right when Troy arrives. He's been like painting sets with Gabriella, and Troy's dad is like really upset with him, and he's like, "You never missed a practice. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Whatever, you need to get your head in the game." And then Troy decides to stay in the gym and just practice shots when Gabriella comes in. And this interaction between them literally made me giddy. I was kicking my leg and like
so flirty high school.
So cute.
Oh my God, it's really cute.
So cute. And this interaction like felt real. Like I was like, is this improvised?
I agree.
It's so genuine. And she's like, she like makes a 3-pointer or whatever, and he's like, "You're really good." She's like, "Yeah, I like won championships back in a basketball competition back in the day. Same day I invented microwave popcorn in the space shuttle." And he's like, "Oh, very funny." And then they just talk about the auditions more, and then he makes a comment about how if he gets kicked off the team, it's on her conscience, and they like giggle and flirt, and I'm like, ah! It was so really cute. Fucking cute. So high school until cockblock Coach Bolton appears, and he's like, "You can't be here, miss." Like he's very stern and not funny or lighthearted with her. It was very upsetting. I was like almost triggered by it.
Gabriella, and he's like, "Okay."
Yeah, it was
she's
very
also
weird.
Like at this point, like a 17-year-old girl, and he's being all like weirdly alpha and weird. But I like that Troy is like, "What the fuck is your problem, Dad?" And he's like,
"Yeah,
she's a problem." And he's like, "She's not a problem. She's just a girl." And that's when Coach Bolton is like, "But you're not just a guy." And I was like, "Damn, this is like kind of good." Like, yeah, this is kind of eating this toxic dynamic. Like, I don't know. It feels very genuine, also to me.
I know. No, it's very kind of adult, not adult almost, but like it's very like for me as a 9-year-old, this totally went over my head. But like watching it now as an adult, it's like, wow, okay, like those are truly, because sometimes like these coaches or adults that are involved in like high school like extracurriculars, they get really into it for some reason. And it is very that, like he is very much being that type of coach where it's like, get a grip. Like this is high school sports.
He's giving me like reliving his glory days through the sun, 100%. You know?
Yeah. And that's fully what's going on here. But Troy does kind of give it back to him, which I do appreciate.
Me too.
And yeah, it just felt like a very real conversation that could have been bad and cheesy, but it wasn't.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah, and then we kind of have this stupid conversation between Troy and Chad, again, fighting about how he needs to take stuff seriously. They're in the library. Kind of dumb. That's really all that happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, cut to Chad and Taylor having a conversation in science class because you can tell they're going to plot something.
Yes.
Because they don't like what's going on here. Taylor doesn't like that Gabrielle doesn't have focus on her studies, and Chad, obviously, with basketball. But Sharpay and Ryan see them talking, and Ryan comes up with this fucking insane theory that actually those two want Troy and Gabriella to be in the musical and get the call back, because if they do that, then they'll have control over the whole school.
Yes.
So Sharpay is kind of like, fuck, you're so right. So everybody's against everybody at this point.
Yes.
Nobody's on the same page.
No.
And it just kind of emphasizes that plot. That's really all we get. But we know that Chad and Taylor are plotting something. We just don't know what yet. Cut to the next day. Their plan is commencing. They kind of get Troy into the locker room, and they have this like intervention with him where they're like basically telling him he needs to focus on basketball and that theater is going to get him nowhere.
And they're like kind of manipulating him by showing him all these old players and like how they became legends. And then the last one is his dad, and they're like, but he only became a legend because like, and in between all their speeches is like, get your head in the game. And Troy,
it's very culty.
Troy being driven into a fucking corner and being honestly very human in this moment. I thought I didn't even hate him for this. I was like, the poor guy, he's been being bullied essentially from day one for wanting to, and now he's surrounded by all of his peers, and he's like, okay, you know what, fuck it, like, she doesn't mean anything to me, this musical doesn't mean anything to me, like, you guys are my boys, whatever. They are secretly obviously filming this, and timing was impeccable because immediately they live stream this to Gabriella. Poor girl starts crying, which is understandable. And then Taylor's like, okay, do you want to go get lunch? And Gabriella's like, I'm actually, like, really fucking upset right now.
Yeah,
so
you, like, just crushed my high school life. Like, no, I don't want to get fucking lunch.
And she's like, okay, well, we'll, like, be there when you're ready. And then, and Gabriella is, like, totally justified, I think, in her anger. But this leads into the worst song in the entire movie. There's no, there's no argument.
Stop.
I skipped it. I went, beep.
No, you didn't.
I can't watch it. It's so whiny. It's so boring. It's terrible.
See, my problem in these movies, like every High School Musical movie, actually except High School Musical 3, I love the Gabriella solo song. I think because I really like, for me, Gabriella was like, when I was a kid, like, she was who I wanted to be. I was like, I love how she's just like so effortless and not trying. But yeah, like watching it back, like this song is so cheesy and so like just so crazy. And I love how they dub her. This is like the one song where they dub Gabriella's voice with like some woman. Like,
did you hear like no,
yeah,
I skipped it.
It's funny when you find yourself looking from the and then outside. Then it goes to like a woman in her 30s. The outside. I'm standing here.
Really?
Like, it's like, yeah, if you listen back, you can hear it. I can always clock it. I clocked it when I was 9.
No fucking way.
Yes.
Wow.
It always makes me laugh. But yeah, it's just basically, the song is called When There Was Me and You, and she's basically just reminiscing on like when her and Troy, I don't know. It's kind of like, it's a little dramatic for a relationship that started a couple weeks ago.
But like, you know, in high school when everything's so like
everything's
charged.
So real.
Oh my God, it's so intense.
Yeah.
I get that.
It only adds to it. I love how they added fuel to the fire where like she's singing this and like outside there's like a big pep assembly going on. Like, why is that happening in the middle of the day? But it just like makes her feel worse. Anyway, the song ends with Gabriella at her locker. And it ends with her at her locker, and Troy comes up, and it's this fucking trope that pisses me off.
Oh, miscommunication trope! I hate it. The book girls hate that. They hate that trope. You clocked that.
It makes me so mad. Because
Talk about
it's basically like Gabriella is like, well, Troy's gonna be like, yeah, she like keeps interrupting him with filling in words she thinks he's gonna say, which is the opposite of his intention.
Yeah.
And it's just like this back and forth, and he's like, wait, but no. And then she's like, yeah, I didn't want to do it either. But I thought we are gonna call back. Yeah, I didn't want to go either. Yeah. Like, it's like, girl, like, and then I was like, Troy, just like interrupt her.
Yeah.
Like we're like this miscommunication. It's so frustrating. They do this in every fucking Disney movie, I feel like.
So fucking annoying.
But yeah, it's just bad. And then the fucking yeah. Also, she said, I know you like to carry a load with your friends.
She said, I know you like to carry a load?
Carry a load with your friends.
No, she didn't say that.
Yeah, she did say that. I had to go back and like went at the
What does that mean if it doesn't mean what we think?
Maybe they're carrying loads with each other, and she knows that. I don't know. But anyway, that caught me off guard. But then she kind of walks away, and then this cracks me up. Actually, this like random like Munchkin parade of people that are like, go Wildcats, go Wildcats, walk in front of Troy, and it like makes it so funny. Like their voices are, I don't know. Anyway, Troy's obviously upset by this, and we have this montage of him like practicing in the backyard, and he's emo, and he's missing all the shots, and his dad sees this, and he's like, "Oh, his game's being affected by the fact that he's depressed." Imagine that. And then
both the cliques kind of take almost like a therapized view, and they're like, "You know what? Actually, we did not eat that. That was really toxic of us." And they both apologize. So the boys apologize to Troy, and they're like, "We actually think we do know why Gabriella's pissed at you," because he's like, "She won't talk to me, and I don't fucking know why." And I actually thought this was cool that when they went to Gabriella and they were like, "Wow, that was us. Like we set that up." She goes, "But no one forced him to say that," and she ate with that. She was fucking real for that, and I love that she just been like, "Okay, it's fine." Like I like that she was like, "No, that was not okay, and you didn't make him do that." I was like, period. So he really has to work. He ends up showing up at her house. She doesn't want to see him, so he fucking goes to the back, calls her. Finally, they like kind of make up in this moment, I guess. I
thought this was a cute moment when he sings to her a cappella and she cries. Like those were real tears. Those were not like,
you think?
They looked real. Like her eyes
were red.
Like she could maybe just cry on command, but like I still think if you can like get tears out of nowhere, I'm like, I applaud you. Like that's crazy.
Totally,
I wish I could do that.
Totally.
But I was like, that was just a cute moment,
and that
you could
just
tell
like
it meant
him
a lot
actually
to her.
Singing.
That was actually him singing.
Okay.
Well,
he gets better in the future ones. Yeah. He's definitely a good singer in the future ones, I think.
Yeah, and this basically just establishes that everything's okay, and you know that everything's okay because we cut to basketball practice, and there's like this intense rock music playing, and like apparently now they're playing really good. Like they're really practicing good. We cut to Gabriella, and she's like doing really good math. And also, this made me think, like, don't you wish you had like a smart math friend? Because I know I fucking don't. Who could like check the equations and be like, is that like a valid equation, or are they just like scribbling numbers? You know, I always think that in shows when they have math equations and shit, I'm like, are these real?
Is this real? Well, at one point she was doing chemistry. I was like, girl.
I know. Like, that's not part of the decathlon, honey. You're not the teacher. I know. That made no fucking sense. But, like, it's just basically them. They're both thriving again. Then they kind of both run off separately to go rehearse with Kelsey. Ryan and Sharpay hear this, and they're like, fuck, they sound really good. Sharpay
and they honestly come up with a brilliant plan, which is let's put all the events on the same day so they can't come back to callbacks.
And they convince Miss Darbus of this.
I was also like, what the fuck? Why? How?
Miss Darbus is like, maybe because she's like actually like plotting for their demise. I don't know, but like that pissed me off too. It was like, girl, that is just like that. You should be
supporting the. But after we heard about your drama club, I'm like, well,
maybe, yeah. Well, yeah,
maybe she's spiteful like that.
Just right, but yeah. So basically, everything is on Friday now. The auditions, the fucking decathlon.
I love when the text showed up. It was like game day, decathlon day, callbacks, help, or whatever. I was like, yeah. It just really like it heightens the tension in this scene, and it's like the energy is so charged. Like the rest of the movie, fucking 10 out of 10. 8, I think.
Because it's like
the tension's there. All the events are happening. Oh my God.
Yes.
So yeah, essentially we see the basketball game. It's like super intense. It's tied. We see the decathlon.
Oh wait, can I talk about one thing?
Yes.
Before we get into the basketball game, there's this really actually cute conversation between Troy and his dad in the locker room before the game starts. Where like, I think his dad realizes he's been a dick, which is like
was actually really cute.
Yeah, I do hate though. Like this happened in Tarzan too. It's like where like the last moment of the film, like the dad realizes like he's like been wrong the whole time. Like it happens in The Little Mermaid too. It's like I hate that.
You're right.
But anyway, he does have this really cute moment where he's like, honestly, I just want you to have fun, and I'm gonna go to sleep smiling tonight, knowing
if you had fun.
If you had fun, no matter if we win or lose. And I was like, that is really fucking sweet.
I agree.
But basically, they have this plan, and we don't know what the plan is, but like you said, everything's starting. The game starts, the decathlon starts, and the callbacks are starting. And everything's just going, and basically, how do they get the basketball game? Oh, the buzzer.
This is when they're in the middle of the fucking decathlon, and she pulls open her laptop, and it says like transmitting Wi-Fi send code. She clicks a fucking button, and this code prints. I know how to write code, so watching this, I was literally like.
Well, I think also like this was made in 2006 before we had like any sort of we
idea of like, yeah, right.
internet word, so they were probably like Wi-Fi. That's an internet word. Like we can just throw that in there, but like really now it's like a nonsensical.
It was literally so painful, and essentially whatever they've done, they send Wi-Fi, and it breaks the entire system for the game. So all the like lights start going, and the principal's like, everybody's got to leave, like technical difficulties, and then in the decathlon they like do some like chemistry
smelly
thing
potion,
that makes it smell like farts, and everyone's like, gotta leave, and then they're sprinting, and in between all these clips you're getting clips of Sharpay and Ryan doing Bob to the Top, which again is just like, that number eats, all the tension is there, like I just think it's so fucking good, and it's all building up to this moment where finally they finish whatever, what is it?
Wait, what do you think about Bob to the Top though? Because I was watching this with adult eyes and laughing. Like, imagine from Miss Darbus's perspective, like your 2-star performers come out and like just do this like semi-culturally appropriative number. Like
agree.
They're speaking Spanish.
I agree.
She's
and
in
she's
a full
in like
flamenco
yes.
outfit. I would be cracking. I would be like, oh, honey, no. You need to talk to your parents before you do things like this. This is not okay.
No, I agree with you. I had that thought too. But again, like, it was a different time. 2004. They were like, this is fine.
Also, I do have I have a question about Bop to the Top.
Yeah.
Do you think it could count as like a villain song?
I think you could make an argument for that.
Like, can we count it as like a Disney villain song? I feel like it could be.
I feel like you could make that argument. It's 2 villains singing it after they've sabotaged the heroes.
About reaching, like, about being powerful.
Yeah.
Like, that's usually how villain songs go.
Mm-hmm.
I might, because I'm always thinking about like the best villain song. Like, that might be, because that one's up there.
Up there. Wait, who do you think is the best villain song?
Hellfire. Everyone says Hellfire is the best villain song, which in a way it is, but it's also
evil.
Like scary.
Yeah. It's like not.
In terms of catchiness, though, I wouldn't say it's that.
No.
Probably Poor Unfortunate Souls for me.
I was just thinking, I love Scar's number 2, honestly.
Be Prepared. Oh, yeah.
Be prepared. Oh.
Yeah. So good. A lot of villain songs are good.
I agree.
Gaston's pretty good too. Like,
oh my god, I used to do performances with my sister to that song. I love that song.
Anyway, that was just my weird.
No, that was a great tangent. But so yeah, we've been building up, and at this point, they're sprinting to the thing, and they're Ryan and Sharpay finish their audition, and Miss Darbus does her thing again, like, Troy and Gabriella. They don't come, and then they come sprinting in, and they're like, we're here, and she's like, sorry, like, that sucks to suck. You guys can't perform. The theater waits for nowhere. And then, honestly, like, I thought this was so cool. She's not going to let them do it until the full theater starts fucking filling with people, because it's all the people from the basketball game, all the people from the decathlon, they're coming to watch. And Miss Darbus, because she's a slut for the spotlight, which we love and we respect, because she is the theater teacher. I mean, what do you expect? Says, okay, you know what? Fine, you guys can perform. This number
I know.
This has to be the best song in the whole thing. Don't you think?
I'm a little impartial because I think Start of Something New, like, there's some magic about that one. Fair. But like these two are like this, like they're like
I literally cried watching this, but I will say at the beginning, when it starts and Gabriella doesn't sing.
Like, could you imagine?
Also, first of all, if I was the director and my star can't sing, I'd be like, sorry, queen, you have stage fright. Like the girl who screams, I never noticed. Brett sent me a video when Gabriella's standing there silently. Some girl's like, does she have stage fright?
I noticed it because I was sitting really close to the TV for some fucking reason, and I never noticed that. Like, there's a lot of moments in this film where you hear a little background, like actors have their little quips, but like that one really. Does she have stage fright? Like, oh my god, we should put that on the Instagram.
We should. I was also so annoyed because, like, earlier in the movie, she's like, I just can't have people staring at me. Like, you auditioned for the musical. What the fuck do you mean, bitch? And she's up there, and of course she's shitting the bed. I was like,
well, that was also my theory, because I wrote this earlier. Like, I had this thought when they were in the back of the callbacks room, or back of the audition room, just watching everyone perform, and I was like, do we think they're really only wanting to be in the show because of each other?
That's a good question.
Or because they genuinely want to be in the show.
That's a good question. Or do they just like singing together?
I think that's what it is. Like, I don't know if they genuinely...
that's such a good point. Yeah.
I had that thought because they both seemed like they weren't like... They just like being, I think they like, and that's honestly such a quintessential high school thing to do. For them to be together, 100%. To like join a club because your crush is doing it. And like, this is 100%. Because their worlds are so different. Like, this is their one kind of thing they kind of could do.
Yeah.
And they just, I think that the reason they want to do it so bad is genuinely because of each other, not because of an interest.
That actually makes total sense, actually.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's like you have debilitating stage fright and you want to be in the show. Okay.
You fully fucking chose to be here. But it is really cute how Troy kind of pulls her aside and he goes like, it's basically just you and me, like kindergarten. I don't know why that kind of like trope always gets me in like my favorite show, Avatar: The Last Airbender. The kids are like at this little dance and the one girl is like nervous and he's like, just look at me and like we'll just dance. And I'm like,
I think it's because so rarely men do that in real life.
Yeah,
and it's
right.
Like,
well,
they're just like, suck it up. You know,
you're being kind of a bitch.
Yeah,
you're actually being kind of boring.
Yeah, you're a bitch tonight.
You didn't even talk to my fucking friends.
Yeah. So I think it's just we're craving something that doesn't exist. But anyway, the performance is so cute. It's like literally one of the best Disney songs of all time, in my opinion. Like it's so fucking good.
God, it's just the beginning, like piano notes. Like it's just such a road trip classic song too. I feel like if you're like tired on a road trip, someone puts this banger on, everyone in the car screams singing, you know?
Oh, you have no choice.
You have no choice.
But anyway, the performance goes very well. Everyone's like cheering and jumping and so happy and it's so great. And that's basically it. And then we kind of just cut back to
the basketball game. They win. And then we're all in this together.
Yeah, well, it's like I write down those. I was like, there's like the game ends and we get so many little plot points that happen.
Oh yeah, they're tidying up all the loose ends.
Literally, like, which I appreciate. So Gabriella says the decathlon, they won too. Chad asked Taylor out.
Yep.
Sharpay and Ryan up here.
Also, not everyone having gone to therapy by the end of this movie. Like,
Sharpay,
she's so gracious. I was like, huh?
I know. Sharpay has this interaction with Gabrielle where she like break a leg. Like she's very gracious.
It was almost not believable.
I know. I wish she was bitchier. I have to take
this off. I'm so sorry.
Girl. And then Zeke has this conversation with Sharpay and he's like, I baked you some cookies. And Ryan's like, oh, she says ew and walks away. And then Ryan's like, good game. Like, I think Ryan had a crush on Zeke, but whatever. That's another story. And then Troy gives Kelsey the game-winning ball, and the stupid basketball boy takes off her hat, and her hair like cascades down, and she's like, "Oh my god, she's actually a pretty girl, you guys."
Also, that guy was kind of hot. I thought that from the beginning. I look hideous. I can't even look at myself with these eyebrows.
Okay. I look like I'm like doing your taxes, but whatever. And then we're all in this together. And like, what do we think about? Yeah, it's okay. What do you think about we're all in this together?
I mean,
newspaper here, newspaper,
extra. I mean, we're all in this together is probably one of the most well-known iconic numbers in the whole thing. Everyone learned this. I'm giving like Lumiere's girlfriend.
No, you look like one of the girls in TLC. I think her name's T-Boz. I have to take a picture. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Sorry, okay, you go.
I'm saying nothing. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point.
It's just we're all in this together. Like, what are your thoughts on we're all in this together? Like, I think it's
I think it's amazing. It's like a fucking phenomenal ending. Everyone knew the dance to this. I knew the dance. You knew the dance. All my friends knew the dance. We all learned the dance. Like, we were all addicted to this song. It's amazing. What do you think about it?
I think it's great. I think it's the best finale number in a Disney Channel movie. I mean, eats Camp Rock up. Sorry again. I'm on the Camp Rock hate train. I'm sorry.
No. I like Camp Rock, but it's just not as good.
It's not.
It's just not as good.
I think this number is so cute. I love that they're all in this together, haha. But like they're all kind of just like singing together. It's so cute seeing the cast interact and like
yes.
I love it. I can't.
You look guys, like I look really scary right now. It's just the eyebrows. My wig's not on, and I put on my glasses.
It's giving, yeah. Look at you. Okay, but anyway, yeah. Then the movie ends. They all kind of march off, and like it's the end. And that's High School Musical.
Holy fuck, we did it! Woo!
This may be our longest episode ever.
I knew it was.
You knew it.
I said this would be our longest.
I was like, "There's no way." And yeah, you're so fucking right.
It's just so much plot, and I knew we were gonna have side tangents. I had questions for you, and it's just good. It's hard not to get into it.
Yeah.
But okay. So how many basketballs are you giving this out of song notes?
I'm gonna give it. I have to say like 8.5.
Yep. Yeah,
8 or 8.5 for
if
sure.
If we're doing this out of Disney Channel original movies, this gets like a 9.5.
Oh, out of Disney Channel, this is a 10.
Yeah,
if it's
I mean, I think it is
for Disney Channel original. I mean, this is
the
bench line.
Yeah,
this is what everybody compares the movies to.
Yeah, yeah.
Know what movie scares me that I've never seen? Descendants.
I've never seen that either.
But that's like the new generation High School Musical. Like that 8. I remember when I was in camp, like when I was a camp counselor, and like those kids were obsessed.
Oh my god, we should watch it because we will be having totally fresh eyes. I want to see that. That would be so interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, I love this movie. It's the nostalgia that's going to affect my opinion for sure.
8.5 if it's like out of all Disney movies. Okay, yeah. If it's out of all Disney movies, I give it like an 8.
Yeah.
And if it's out of Disney Channel original movie, a 10. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No doubt. And then do you want to announce what next week's movie is?
I think I already kind of blew it at the beginning because well, guys, next week we're doing The Emperor's New Groove.
The Emperor's New Groove!
And I'm really excited because I don't think Brett has ever seen this.
Yeah, if I have,
I fucking love this
memory. Yeah.
Oh my god, I think it's going to be hard to kind of joke about this because it's very self-aware and it's very funny.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
I'm happy about that. It almost kind of gives me like Shrek vibes in a way, like the humor in it.
Yes, I mean, it is. It is like a little like that. I haven't seen it,
but like I think like the main guy who voices him, just like
David
I don't know.
Spade.
I don't know. It feels Shreky. I don't know.
No,
but anyway,
fair.
But yeah, I'm excited to get into that one because I have no huge frame of reference for that one.
Thoughts about it at the end. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on this ride. If you're still here, oh my god, we should be sending you nudes at this point to thank you.
I know.
Maybe you don't want that, actually.
If you've made it to this point, you qualify for 16 free meals from HelloFresh.
That video of yours popped off, which means that other people have noticed the same thing.
It's crazy.
When you were like, no one in America should be starving because no matter what you do.
You qualify.
Guys, Brett is so funny. Like his takes on shit.
I have moments where I'm funny.
No, shut up. Shut up. You're hilarious.
Funny. I think you're funny.
Yeah. We also, guys, I got the nicest DM this week from this girl. I don't know her name because on Instagram it just says H. I also don't want to like out her if she doesn't want to, but she sent us the nicest DM that said that since listening to the podcast, she feels more comfortable like getting back into things she used to like as a kid, and it's given her a chance to connect with her daughter. She just sent us the most beautiful message, and she said when I replied to her and I said like, this is so beautiful, like thank you for sharing, she was like, I was so nervous to send this, like I fought myself for an hour, and like I just want to say like anytime you guys send us stuff like that, like truly from the bottom of my heart, it like gives me so much purpose and makes me feel so amazing. And like content creators, we all discuss this with each other, but like it can be, I'm like, it's actually really hard, but like you can struggle with a lot of like your own self-doubt when you're a content creator, or like hating what you make, or being like I suck, or like whatever, and messages like that just help me keep going. And so I just want to say thank you, and if you ever want to send us a message, please do. Like it just makes our day. And
it doesn't need to be poetic either. Like don't feel like you need to type a fucking novel.
No,
like it I cannot emphasize enough how happy it makes us feel like when we read these messages and we send them back and forth and we're like, it's just so motivating, and it makes
really
us want to keep going too. And like I'm just
so thankful
we love y'all so much.
We love you. The only reason we do this is because of you, so
truly
love you, girl.
And so we can hang out.
Yeah, well,
I guess.
I guess.
Anyway.
No, it's that too.
Should we?
Yeah.
Oh my God. We've been through 3 calls? Okay.
Good luck, Martin. Love you,
Sorry, baby.
Okay, so we gotta end with
We're all in this together?
No.
Or breaking free?
Yeah.
Okay.
So should we start with
yeah.
Okay.
With
SOOOOARIN, flying. There's not a star in heaven that we can't reach.